Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it. And this video, I want to start with a trash pickup that I attended this past weekend at Burbank Park at Onota Lake, and that was sponsored by the Keep Massachusetts Beautiful team. This trash pickup consisted mainly of liquor store owners in the community. And a big thank you to all the volunteers that came out and did that. I was down there for about an hour or so, and they pulled out a lot of trash. I mean, a lot of trash. I was a little disappointed with this having been discussed at city council meetings a few times with the liquor store owners, but I was a little disappointed that more representatives from the city were not there or city councilors. One city councilor that's at all the events was there, and that's our at-large councilor, Karen Kalinowski. She was out there picking up trash all morning in the cold. So big thank you, though, to all the volunteers, all the liquor store owners. This was not their first one. And a big thank you to Councilor Kalinowski. Another thing I want to talk about is the Christian Center in Pittsfield, located at 193 Robbins Avenue, is looking for winter clothing. So we're going into the cold weather season, and they need children's clothing, women's clothing, and big time men's clothing. That's where their biggest shortage is. So if you have winter jackets, gloves, hats, things you can donate, not stuff you would throw away, decent stuff that you can donate, they need your help. And if you don't have it to donate, maybe you can buy something new or on sale and make a donation. But I told the Christian Center that through this platform, we'd get them what they needed. I want to see a big donation. And I know a few of you had contacted me this week, and you have a lot of clothing to bring down there. I have some clothing that I'm bringing down there. But all of you, anything you can do to help, there's a huge demand and a huge need for it. And that's the Christian Center of Pittsfield, located at 193 Robbins Avenue. So if you can make some clothing donations to them, and specifically winter clothing, it's a huge help and very much needed. So I want to touch on homelessness and sheltering real quick, and then that'll be it for this video. This is going to be a short one. I know this is something I've been talking about for years on this platform, but it is back in the forefront, which is a good thing in the community. And we're hearing a lot of talk about a proposed 28-unit transitional housing program that will go in, I believe, on Henry Ave and West Housatonic Street there, directly across the street from the hot dog ranch. And it's a 28-unit facility that they're proposing, or I shouldn't say facility, but building 28-unit apartments for transitional housing. And it'll be subsidized and I believe run by Berkshire Housing. So the mayor is really pushing this. One of our city councilors spoke up with some concerns about parking, and the political figures in the community that don't like her and have never liked her from the beginning used it as a political talking point to try to say she's against homelessness and she's this and that. And that's, absolutely ridiculous. So here's the situation. When that was being discussed at the council meeting, and I heard Councilor Kalinowski's concerns, I did some research and I called her the next day and asked if I could talk to her, and we did. And I wanted to find out where she truly stood on this, because I am very much in support of needing better programs and needing transitional housing, something we've lacked on for a long time. I will forever be mad about what they did to those in homelessness that were staying at the shelter in the middle of the height of the pandemic and booted them all out and caused the problem that we had where Springside Park filled up to the top. And the mayor backed that. I have the statements that she put out, that the Diocese of Springfield kicked him out, that there weren't many guests staying there, and they were given ample notice, I think 3 weeks notice to get their belongings. And it was just absolutely ridiculous how that was managed. But like always, nobody wants to take ownership of anything. So this thing with the housing unit, I'm very in support of. However, Councilor Kalinowski's concerns were 28 units being put in, and I believe zoning in Pittsfield says you need 2.5 parking spaces per unit. I believe that's how we zone and regulate things. Well, in this specific situation, there's 7 parking spaces available, and they're going to do it anyway. And that was her concern. So then I read an article in the paper that was reiterating what a lot of them are saying, but this individual, I believe he sits on the ARPA board, but he wrote an article or a letter to the editor, I'm not sure. It looked like an article that they published. And it said in there that it was a ridiculous argument, basically, because homeless people don't have cars. And that really floored me. When statistics show that vehicular homelessness makes up about 40 to 45% of the overall homeless population, people living in their cars. And the people that are living in their cars are generally the people that are in that situation because they've been priced out of their home, maybe a relationship ended and they couldn't afford it anymore, or a family member died, or something along those lines. And they still have their vehicle they're hanging on to, and they still have a job, and that's their whole lifeline. And again, that makes up, on average, nationally, 40 to 45% of those in homelessness. So somebody who would think that all homeless people don't have vehicles is way off topic there, way off topic. And again, those are the first people you can usually, the first group of that population you can get into transitional housing, because generally that segment of the population is not there due to substance abuse or mental health issues. It's generally finance, and many of them are working still or have a means of income enough to keep their car and things going. They just can't afford to get into housing. So instead of having an honest conversation about how are we going to address this, there's the reason we zoned that way. Where will people park? You can't ostracize people who have vehicles from being able to stay there. That's ridiculous. And I hope we're not just trying to throw this facility up or get the plan approved in time for an election year, because my gut tells me that's probably what it is. I mean, Mayor Tyer's administration has been there going on 8 years. And we're just starting to address this now. And I know they're going to say, well, we just got the ARPA funds. This could have been addressed a long time ago. A long time ago. This conversation needed to start a long time ago. If Melissa Mazzio and Helen Moon, 2 of our former counselors, are the ones who reactivated the Homeless Commission. And what did that turn into? The chair of the board fighting with city councilors and fighting with the mayor and them fighting back. It became a circus. That none of this has been handled correctly. And we've treated that segment of our population in homelessness like second or third rate citizens. It's been horrible. And now we're going to use, it looks like, political talking points to play political football here with people's lives. And I hope that's not the case. Parking for that facility needs to be discussed. And if it needs to be, we need to come up with some kind of sheltering program and they have to park at the McKay Street garage, then we need to address that. Is there something we can do with local taxis or car services that these people can be sheltered to their vehicle? You can't tell people that are living in their car that they can't qualify for an apartment if they want to keep their car there. They'll have no place to put it. You can't do that. I mean, you can't do that. I don't think that's fair, and I think it's a legitimate conversation that needs to be discussed. And what is the solution? To say that homeless people don't have vehicles is just somebody who doesn't understand the scenario then. But anyway, that's it for now. We'll be talking about this more in discussion, but really I wanted to touch on that, and that conversation needs to continue. And please, Christian Center of Pittsfield, help them out if you can. 193 Robbins Avenue, they need winter clothing, and let's get them what they need. There's some other events coming up this week that I'll be going over later. In the week, in the next day or two. So again, that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll catch you all in the next day or two.